one. Oh, what do we got? Take a look at this.
Kenneth Arnold, lights flashing, 47 saucers passing, Roswell crash, debris field, Ramey memo half revealed, Project Sign, Project Grudge, Cold War skies, the radar buzz, Blue Book files locked away, Men in Black say no one saw a thing today.
Watch closely as a different U.S. drone drops a Hellfire missile on that fast-moving orb. The missile appearing to bounce off the object.
Foo Fighters over World War II, Nazi discs, the rumors grew, Operation Paperclip, V2 rockets, secret ships, Maury Island fragments fall, Flatwoods monster standing tall, every decade, every night, something strange is in the sky. We didn't stop the sightings. They've been in the heavens while the world keeps fighting. We didn't stop the sightings. No, we didn't light it, but we're trying to find it.
That's not LNS though, is it? It's not. I do have LNS, yeah. But if there's like anything, it's rotating.
Betty Barney, missing time. Hills recall a bright white sign. Kecksburg Bell in Pennsylvania. Sheriff says it tried to change ya. Shag Harbor glowing gold. Halt at Rendlesham, for it's cold. Ariel School, the kids all stare. They were here, they were really there. Brazil's barking, a creature found. Phoenix lights above the town. Bob Lazar, element Quintumnia. Craft that jumped like in a dream. Skinwalker Ranch, dimension tears. Cattle vanish in the air. Something's humming out of view. Pilots whisper, yeah, we saw it too. We didn't start the sightings. They've been in the heavens while the world keeps fighting. We didn't start the sightings. No, we didn't light it, but we're trying to find it. Radar pings and thermal flares. Oceans hide what's under there. Satellites and space command. Still no one quite understands. For every secret government file, another witness walks a mile to say, I know what I saw tonight, and the truth is sitting out of sight. Tic-tac dancing near the fleet. Fravor says it moves too neat. Howdy-I-dip, digging through the past. Wilson memo leaks at last. Eric Davis briefing notes. Kraft retrieved, the rumor floats. Congress asked, reveal the proof. Whistleblowers raise the roof. NASA study, hearings loud. Disclosure talk inside the crowd. Maybe soon we'll read the page. Tape in hiding, age to age. Human future, open sky. What's above we can't deny. From the old world to tonight, something's burning in the light. We didn't start the sightings. They've been in the heavens while the world keeps fighting. We didn't start the sightings, but when the truth ignites.
Hello. Sorry about that. I had the microphone on mute. I can't start a stream professionally. It always fucks up. Just the way it is. So today's video, we're going to look at the Boyd Bushman deathbed confession. And we're also going to look at the Bob Lazar and his water-powered car, and also the Russian crash. So we're going to look at that in this stream. So we're going to crack on straight with it. How are y'all doing anyway? Shiv's been found. Jay is safe. Yeah. Shiv comes in, laughs. We all know he's Stephen Gray's boyfriend. That's why I shared that video, so he could see what his boyfriend looked like with hair. He's with meeting Stephen Gray, by the way, so that's why he's in bed with him. But he'll probably fall out of him, because Shiv's a miserable fuck, apparently. So, Gray won't even like him. TikTok, if you want to come over to YouTube, come on over now. I won't be staying live on here, so I'm just going to go onto the screen now. I'm going to crack on with it. Where is it? This one here.
My name is Boyd Bushman. I'm a senior scientist from Lockheed Martin. I have 27 patents. Approximately 13 years ago, I ran across a person who had been given a job by Dr. Teller. Dr. Teller was Oppenheimer's right-hand man, and even after Oppenheimer was thrown out of Area 51, Dr. Teller stayed there and was in charge of several programs. The person that I contact 2 to 3 times per month is the head of that program now. And they continually update me on everything they possibly can. I do have a top secret clearance. I choose, however, for their purposes, not to use it because they, the intelligent ones of me and me, actually believe that a great deal of information should be lifted up from those dark recesses of Area 51 and moved over so people can see it. So that's what began about 13 years ago. Since I am a scientist, I do not believe in theory. I basically say, follow the data, theory be damned. If something can't verify by a physical test that something is true, then I do not care to accept it in that I present. Therefore, everything that we present here will be data that comes directly from them through me to you. The subject of today there are those that are acquainted with the fact that there were Phoenix lights that occurred over Phoenix about 2 years ago. They were photographed, and those really turned out to be just blobs across the Phoenix sky. It turned out to be that a very dear friend of mine took his wife up a mountain on Valentine's Day, and they took a photograph of Tucson. Turned out to be, when they developed the film, there were a total of 5 UFOs across Tucson proper. And this is Tucson as they saw it. Can you get that? So here's the picture of Tucson as he had it. Then, as he developed further, notice that there are 5 very distinct UFOs along the top of the mountain. Mm-hmm. One of them is even canted a bit, about 45 degrees. Now, the person that took the film said that he had a mothership underneath and one up high. This shows the high one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I know that I can buy the ship.
My name is Scott Faree. I live in Vail, Arizona. A friend of mine who manages a nonprofit in Tucson asked me to take some photos for him for his website. And he was looking for a sunrise picture of kind of the skyline of downtown Tucson. So I had gone out actually on Valentine's Day evening. I dragged my wife up to A Mountain so that I could go up there and just block out some shots, kind of plan the photos that I was ultimately going to take for that website. And so we got up on A Mountain just as the sun was setting. I set up my Canon 40D on a tripod, opened the shutter up fully. I really wasn't looking for picture quality. I was, like I said, I was looking to block out where I wanted to set the camera and the angles that I wanted to take. And so I started to click off some photos, and I had these set with a timer release on the shutter so I didn't get any camera vibration because the sun was starting to set. We were running into fairly low light. And I took, I don't know, it was probably 6 or 8 pictures. I figured I'd had enough that I could take a look at tomorrow, take a look at the next day and decide what I liked. So we went out to dinner that night, went home the following day. I uploaded these photos onto my laptop, and I noticed some lights that I really didn't expect to see up above the Santa Catalina Mountains. And upon closer inspection, and as I really ran out the contrast in the photo, I ended up with something that I still can't explain to this day. This is the original photo, and these lights were showing up just over the top of the mountain. I took a second photo probably 5 or 6 seconds later, as long as it would have taken for me to reset the timer. And in fact, this group of lights was in a much more narrow band, and now about, well, I don't know, I can't really say distance-wise, but they'd moved quite a ways from where that original grouping had taken place. So I still have no explanation for the camera, or for the pictures. These images, these lights have not shown up in any other photos that I've taken. I'm at a loss as to what they might be, and certainly curious as to where those lights came from. They certainly are very, very similar images.
Here's open flying. Let me go through now on the ships. In order for me to believe it, I had to get blow-ups, and so here are 2 of them, which is blown up much higher. And I think I have one that, yeah, you can see the 45-degree candidate UFO. Now see, the only reason that I bought everything that he said is because my people have been feeding me for 13 years pictures, not only pictures of just plain pictures, but I gave them assignments, being a senior scientist, and they got a picture of up close and personal. This is a UFO which is ready to take off, and it is very up close. And they inform me that there are 3 elements.
Just in case you can't see that, I don't know if you can see where my mouse is. It looks like this part here is the top of the UFO. It's like a normal shaped UFO would be, and this bit's lighter than the top half. That's what I can see on a little bit of a bigger screen here. I do recommend putting it on your TV.
Which the UFO is contained. One is telluride, the other is germanium, the other is palladium. I did not say a metal once. And not only that, but the things pick up and fly using anti-gravity. Now, that's one picture. Here's another picture. In this case, the UFO is not turned on, ready to fly. Therefore, it only shows on the upper part of it. And generally, it's white on the underside when power is applied. Here's also another of the same order. Now, these UFOs are 38 feet in diameter, and it was rather surprising to me, since I actually physically gave them my camera. They took this picture as a UFO was departing. Within one flick of my camera, they got 3 UFOs. That's real. And yeah, we don't know why.
So they took an image of a UFO, and in that one image, it was showing the UFO 3 times. That's how fast it was going. What?
Now, also, when UFOs come in, they like we have a heads-up display for our pilots. They do too. This is what their pilots see in order to tell them how to come to Area 51 and land. And not only that, they can go to a vertical hole in a mountain over 51 and go down a shaft. They don't have wheels. They don't have anything like that. They take off by going up straight, and then not only that, but they travel extremely rapidly. Their home planet is Quintumnia, which is 68 light years from us. They, to my surprise, when I asked them how fast they take to get from that, it should be 68,000 years to make it according to Einstein. But they're able to make it to us in 45 years. So I gave them an assignment to photograph the planets from space as they were coming back. And they did that. And you see Jupiter and Saturn and Mars and Earth as it's seen by UFOs. And here's another. Now, we aren't going through motherships or anything like that. Nevertheless, those are the UFO. Now, when they actually get powered up and actually start traveling.
Do you think these people that give deathbed confessions are doing it because they want to tell the truth? Or do you think that they're paid to do this up until the death, to push the narrative still, in rewards for their family being taken care of and money going to them for after the death and stuff like that? That would make sense as well, right? So I'm always a bit dubious about these deathbed confessions. Although the Malgrim one, I believe. This one's interesting as well. He shows a lot of stuff. But I don't know whether to believe him. What do you think in the comments? Do you believe him?
It turns like this. You do not hear sound. They're up. They travel like that. They look like that. And they travel extremely rapidly. Now, the question is who are they? Here's another one that's, you see the bottom, how it's all white? It's turned on. Here's also the bottom turned on. Strangely enough, I asked them to take pictures of the power unit on the bottom, up close and personal. They gave me this. I don't know what this means. That's when my camera actually looks into the power center of the UFO. Now, I asked them to tell me about who was flying these things. He therefore said, fine, they're approximately 5 feet.
So I've just paused it there for you so you can see that image. You've probably all seen that image, the famous alien head, alien body, little tiny alien thing. Is that a real picture? I'll try and get the image actually so I can share it as well in a minute so you can see it closer up if you've not seen it before. But this has been circulated for many years. I don't know, I just struggle. I really struggle to buy it, but
4.5 to 5 feet tall. They had one or two of them around it that were 230 years old, and we have a total of at least 18 that exist and operate with our facility as Teller set it up. Now notice the eyes are different, nose are different, but they do have 5 fingers, 5 toes, 2 eyes.
well, just because you said what would he gain at this time of his life from dying? Well, he might not have enough money. He might think I'm dying and he wants to look after his wife or his kids or his grandkids, and if he's part of the cover-up, he'd say, listen, I'll do a video before I die. All I ask is you give me some money to make sure that my family is settled. And they know that because it's his deathbed, people are more likely to believe him, and then he can push the narrative still. I think that would be a plausible reason, plausible explanation.
And rather strangely enough, I asked him how they communicate. He says, well, it's like this, boy. You all of a sudden have a question in your mind. You walk into a room with one of them, and all of a sudden you find yourself giving the answer to your question in your own voice. They're able to use your own voice by telepathy to talk to you. And I said, fine. Now that's how they look front. But when you turn around and look at the back, it's like that. Now notice that they have 3 backbones. They're actually cartilage. Nevertheless, it's a much more efficient system as ours. They also have 3 ribs in their system rather than more. This is also the back side of an alien. Here's a 45-degree look. And here's the back of the head. Notice the veins, no hair. And now when we talk about aliens, I pushed the issue and he said, well, there's kind of 2 groups of aliens. Well, they divide them into 2 groups. One group he calls, it's like you have a ranch. And you have a ranch and you find that one group are your wranglers that know how to wrangle your cattle. The others are rustlers, ones that steal your cattle. And indeed,
if you see me talking, don't worry, it is on mute. I'm talking to my TikTok live as well, trying to feed them over as well.
2 groups do act differently. To the ones that are wranglers are much more friendly and have a better relationship with us. Here's the other side of the alien.
So this is the other famous one that goes around. Now there's people saying it was a doll from Walmart and stuff like that, and I don't know. I can't verify that, but to me it doesn't look real. And I think a lot of these people are gullible, like very gullible. I think Chris Bledsoe's another gullible person. I think a lot of people that are prominent from the past that have been lied to and just believed the psyop. I am really leaning more into the whole UFO alien things being a psyop for something far more sinister. Something that I would never have imagined, probably more spiritual side of it. Like Tim Burchett, I might play a video after this one actually about Tim Burchett. He had 2 interviews over 48 hours. And he contradicted himself. He said in one interview with Sirius, whatever it was called, that channel. He said, we're ready. The American people are ready. Then he went on Michael Knowles' podcast the same day and said, I don't think it'll come out. I don't think they're ready for the information. It's like you've just contradicted yourself in 2 interviews. And I really like Tim Burchett, and I think he's doing good things, but I don't understand. Are we ready for this or not? Like, he said he couldn't sleep at night when he was shown these pictures, right? Sort of what that President Carter, that story about Carter crying and stuff like that. Tim Burchett said it kept him up at night, right? Well, he still goes about his day job, so it can't be that fucking bad. And listen, you're not even a UFO guy, and you've handled it. So think about the people that have been researching this. They can handle it. We can handle whatever's going to be thrown our way. I think the only reason they're hiding it, and this is my honest opinion from my own research, it's what's going on with the children, what they've been doing for this all the psionics, the tampering, the trying to harbour all this ability out of the children, killing these children in the process of doing that. Because by releasing this information, you have to release that. And they don't want to do that. That would be a massive shock. That would be a fucking catastrophic disclosure to people to find out. And these parents are still on this planet where they can't find these children, and some of these children are now in these underground bases being tested on. It's been going on for fucking decades. Just type in this year's missing people. It's incredible the amount of people. Just around the world, in the millions.
Too. Now also notice that their feet, where they have 5 toes, the toes are joined together like a frog, and yet they are dissimilar. Now there was a surprising occurrence, and that is my friend had one of them that was a friend, and he died here. And 10 days after his death, I was out visiting my buddy who's in this picture. And if you look very close, you can see that his friend is in spirit form and right over his left shoulder. You can also see that the fingers are long.
These pictures are all over the internet, so you can Google Boyd Bushman alien pictures and stuff like that, and you get. I might even get it up on this live in a bit after the videos that I want to share and stuff. So I know the quality's not the best, but it's from years ago. So yeah, I'll pause it. But that's apparently a spiritual entity there.
That there is something. We have an expression that basically say when a person dies, they stay around their body for 3 days and then go off, and they basically have the same thing that happens to them. Now, with respect to the alien craft, we have American citizens which are suited up like this, and they are working on UFOs 24 hours a day, and we're trying to learn what to do. These are 2 guys, 2 American citizens, and they're trying to protect themselves against germs and things like that. And here's another view of them. And here's another one. There's an upper part of a UFO and a lower part of a UFO. This is the upper part, and it's just one of them up there. They have a...
Yeah, I am live on TikTok, but they can't see what you're seeing, so when they're coming over, they're seeing what we're talking about. They just think I'm talking to myself here. And I must stress, this is a watch-along, so when people, after they watch it later on, or tomorrow, they'll say, you interrupt and talk because I'm engaging with the chat. It's a watch-along. Sometimes I upload these later on in the archives. I really recommend you go to my archived playlist. It's got some really good oldies. I posted one yesterday with Stephen Gray. He's got hair. He doesn't look like a reptilian. Like, Shiv fancies him even more. Shiv fancies Stephen Gray even more now he's got hair in 1994. And it's really, like, you can't find any videos of Stephen Gray. That is there. I did a John Lear one as well. That's a really good one. Even says in that one, right, Bob Lazar said to him, you'll never be the same when you see that alien that I seen. Bob Lazar went back on that and said he don't think it was an alien. He thinks it might have been a dummy. So, but back when John Lear did that interview, I can't remember who it was with. It was in the desert. It was at his home, actually. He said that Bob Lazar told him that you'll never be the same once you see the alien beings. That was in that archived one that I played, that I shared yesterday. Check that out. That contradicts Bob Lazar again. And I like Bob Lazar, and I hope he's telling the truth. Some of his story adds up, some of it doesn't. And the question what I would have asked on Area 52, when Area 52 interviewed Bob Lazar, he showed him pictures of Billy Myers' UFO, and it looked like the sport model. And what I would have said to Bob is, you said it looks like Billy Myers' UFO. However, Billy Myers' UFO was before you mentioned the sports model. So could it be a case of you've made your story up and used Billy Myers' photo for your sports model idea, for your telling this lie? I would just put it on him like that, and he could have see how he reacted to it. That's the way I'd have asked him that question. And that.
Generally, we give them suspenders so that if they start floating, they don't have gravity on the inside. Somebody can grab them and throw them over to the side. And this is the home planet that they come from, which they call Quintumnia. Now notice that the hand, that's an alien hand. Notice that that the fingers are longer than ours by quite a bit, about 30% longer, and that's just the way they're put together. Now, at any rate, this process that introduced me directly or indirectly to Dr.
The photos are poor, but I will say the photos are online, and I will try and get them up in this live stream so you can see them clearer. They've been circulated for years. You will have seen them. There's nothing new here, unless you've not seen Boyd Bushman before and you're new to the alien UFO topic. Then you might not know what these are. But it's the little. Do you remember the Sirius? Was it the Sirius alien? The little tiny body one. It's similar to that, similar looking little creature thing.
Teller's work with the group that still is in charge of Area 51 and equivalent. Turned out to be a doctor. Very, very fine gentleman. And I was carrying on a conversation with him. He saw how the subject was going. So he simply said, well, you need to know what I did one day. And I said, okay. He said, I was in the process of doctoring a pilot who was a test pilot, a Navy test pilot for the United States government.
Oh, just before I forget, sometime this week I'm going to be doing a live stream, and it's going to be a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire quiz, and I'm going to be using AI to generate me UFO related questions to put into the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire game thing, and invite people up to go at it, going from easy questions to hard like it is on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So I'm just working through all those questions, trying to get them up so they don't get repeated when people come up. So if you'd be interested in that, I think that'd be a fun live, test people's knowledge on the UFO thing. I'm looking forward to doing that. I did it once on YouTube, actually, going through, but I want to do it more UFO and alien related.
And it was 1947. Said he began, I don't know if it's a drug I had him on or what was occurring, but he basically told me that the radar group had found a blip out over New Mexico, and that they would like to assign me to go out and check it out. So he said, fine, I'll do that. And he got the fastest airplane that existed then, which was propeller at the time. And it was fully armed and all the rest of those things. Nevertheless, he was out flying, and he found the item, and he immediately communicated back, and he said, I wish authority First of all, I want you to tell me, are there any other airplanes flying? Are there commercial or anything else around other than he and I? Said, just the two of you. And he said, fine. Second thing I want to know is, do I have authority to shoot it down? I said, why do you want authority to shoot it down? He says, because I am flying the fastest thing that the United States can make, and he's beginning to leave me. Therefore, I know he's either a friend or an enemy, and if he's leaving me, he's an enemy. Therefore, I wish authority to shoot it down. The commander said, fine. He granted him authority. He pulled in. He shot him down. He came down. He flew past and saw that there was a road on the one side of a fence area. He came down and landed his airplane. Hard to do, but he did. And then he cut across the fence. One of them, the door was open. One of them was out walking around. But he didn't care about that. He cared about what the vehicle was. So he went over, and rather strangely enough, when he ducked down, because they were only 5 feet high, he saw that he could see through the walls. Not only that, but as he stepped in, the floor was spongy. He looked at the 3 that were there, and they were dead. He knew they were. He'd killed them. But he also knew that the military would come, and he had put up with those guys for a long time. So he went over, went back across the barbed wire fence, got in his airplane, and took off. Therefore, he was never briefed out at all. And he didn't give my friend authority to allow me to know what his name was. I know, but I won't reveal it. Both of them should have been gone for a long time. Nevertheless, so when I got up with my contacts in Area 51, I brought up that story, and they said, well, that's totally true, but we can't say it, you can. And that's how they've kept me all this time, is I can talk about it, but they can't. I do, because of some very good reasons, keep things within control, but I don't want us to fall behind the Russians and Chinese. And the problem I have is that Area 51 is working with both the Russians and Chinese right now. And trying to make UFOs, they have, there's been a total of 39 United States citizens that have lost their lives trying to reverse engineer UFOs. And the last one I heard of was 1.5 years ago, where we lost 19 lives in one test. They actually wanted to bring various flying craft near the UFO, and the UFO defended itself, and 19 of our people died. Now, they kept giving me things rather than, they would give me pieces of UFOs, and I would come to my laboratories. I had the laboratories of Lockheed and every place else, so I would do that. But I would get pieces of UFOs. For example, I have 3 little pieces of UFOs down underneath the thing that looks like a quartz crystal.
It's a good question. Humans love to kill. Why? Why? It's probably in our nature if we go through the evolution thing with hunter-gatherers and stuff like that. But there's something that goes on in a human mind sometimes where it goes warped. And that would make sense if there is some force that we don't know about that's on this planet that is used, like it's harvesting or pushing negative thoughts, energies, putting us in depression, anxiety, stress, trying to feed on our... They say it's loose, don't they? Feed on that. And they're making us do these things. If we fall into that trap of negativeness, we draw closer to them and stuff like that. That's what could be happening on this planet. There could be a lot of things going on that we don't know, and if they open that up, I think if that was the case, they need to tell us so we can be more open to it, and we work out how to stop that. Unless they've made the deal with the devil and they're getting technology, and and it looks like a lot of them have, because a lot of the seedy shit that's going on all links to Baal and shit like that. It's like, why the fuck would you put a statue of Baal up? Why would you represent that on this planet? Why? You got it in the United States, you got it in Iran, you got it all over these places, outside scientific buildings and everything. I think CERN has like demonic things on it. It's like, why are you entertaining that? Because there's something sick and sinister going on that we aren't aware of in the background.
Notice that that is my hand, and it is giving weight. It says that it weighs 100 grams. Now, without those three items, when I take the UFO material away, notice that the three UFO items are gone. But also notice that the weight of the crystal is now 650 grams. The implication here is that if I were to take the pieces of UFO and put them underneath an average man's scale, he would weigh 45 pounds. Basically, they're working in anti-gravity, and therefore our effort is anti-gravity. Now, not only that, but we take these same pieces of items, and I go to a standard voltmeter, and notice that in my voltmeter I am getting a total voltage of 249 volts out of one rock, one piece of UFO. Not only that, but the team took a piece of UFO and connected it up like this and was able to have a complete laboratory operate for 6 months with heavy equipment. And it goes all the way up to 12 amperes. And since you didn't really get this before, here's the foot with the toes joined together.
While we're watching the final parts of it, I'm going to have a quick look for the pictures so I can put them up on the screen for people that might think it's not clear. It's not clear. If it's going on TV, you might have a better image of it, but even I'm struggling a bit to see it with the quality on the PC screen here to the right of me.
And this is a better view of the same. Now notice also, this is the body of an alien, and where we have 6 ribs that are connected together, they have 3, and the total height is less than 5 feet. And they still look like this, not like you and I. Nevertheless, so we're able to obtain voltages and anti-gravity, and anti-gravity appears several ways, which is rather unique and nice. Scotty talked about UFOs. I basically said, yeah, I understand, because here is what Area 51 was giving to me since the year 2000 and beyond. Notice it's recent. And we have one triangle, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have one that's 150 feet across.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to call this out as bullshit. I really am, because I think they've fed him information and they've said, and he's going to release it on his deathbed, and they've just fed him loads of bullshit. So maybe it's not the case of he's doing it for his family. Maybe it's just a case of he thinks he's releasing something legitimately real, when in fact it's total psyoped bullshit. This is my opinion.
If not larger, and each one of these are separate documentation of UFOs that were photographed.
Well, I've got some of the images, so you might change your mind in a minute.
And taken across the world from the year 2004. Now, when you actually get what that all means, is a UFO, when it's white on the underneath side, is ready to fly like that. And it's anti-gravity, that's the reason you don't hear anything. But when it's just parked means just floating in air. It could be above your house, like this, and this. This turns out to be the heads-up display that the aliens see of how to go to Area 51 and store their craft. Nevertheless, this is what the craft look like. That's how they change power. And notice that here's an egg-like thing, but it's standing on end, only because it has no gravity itself. And that is a piece of UFO germanium. And this little dot is a piece of neodymium magnet, which is above the germanium, and it's floating all by itself. And that, again, is a UFO. And we don't know why, but the crystal appears to be colored rose, and we can't figure out why yet. There's a whole batch of analysis that we're having to do. Alien, side view, front view, top view, line. And that's the power center of palladium in the middle of the craft. In case I missed anything.
Alright, so these are some of the images here. So this... What do you think? Real or bullshit? I think it's absolute bullshit. Got another one here. You can buy it for $400. If you want to buy an alien, dead alien, for $400. Have people made that to look like Boyd Bushman? That's the thing. Got to think from both sides. He did share some of these thingy pictures here. The The UFO images are that's an interesting. You know what that looks like? This one here, you can see my mouse here. That one looks like the glowing orange one, but without the glowing orange. Some commenters have said the alien Mr. Bushman showed in his video looks oddly similar to a plastic one shown in shops. Was Bushman delusional or telling the truth? I think he was delusional. Listen, I'll always share things because who am I to say it's fake? Because some people believe him, so it's only fair. But I will give my opinion. I don't believe him. Some of the images might be real, but I think the alien thing's absolute bullshit. I really do. Believed in what he was saying, said UFO expert Nigel Watson. I hate that. UFO expert. There is no UFO expert. The only people that can be classed as UFO experts are the ones that are working on it. And he is not a fucking UFO expert. Why would you class yourself as a UFO expert? Another one here. So we got Bushman and Dan Aykroyd, and you've got another one, the Kmart copy, which is to the right here, but I can't be arsed messing with the screen. Let me type in Boyd Bushman UFO images. See if we can get some of them ones up. Doesn't show the UFO images on any of the Google things. That's interesting. I'll have typed it up. It'll show the alien, but not the UFO stuff. Is there something in that? And yeah, expert knob. That's what he is, an expert knob. No such thing as an expert UFO person. Absolutely no such thing as an expert UFO person. This is interesting though. Who's seen this before? Like do you remember the Russian? So vintage Soviet military footage. Like, I've seen this decades ago. But like, this has never been debunked. Like, and it's interesting. There's no sound to this, by the way, so I've not muted it. But like, this genuinely looks real to me. It looks like, let's pause it a sec there. So that's like the Soviets surrounding, looks like a disc that's been embedded in the ground. How many people I've seen this? A lot of you will have seen this if you researched for many years and stuff. You'll have come across this. What's your opinion on this one? I'd be interested to hear your opinion on this one. Like, if this is staged or a set, it's a good one. It's a very good one. I have got your emails, just give me time. I get so many emails and messages on my platforms, it just gives me an headache. And I'm trying to build my YouTube channel, so I'm trying to concentrate on one thing without thinking. Like I've said to you, do me a video with your experiences and I'll upload it as a playlist. You don't have to get my opinion on things. Just do a video yourself, send it to me and I'll create a playlist for you on my YouTube channel, and you'll get your nice little thumbnail made just for you and put on my channel. Apparently this was set for a Russian movie or something. Can't remember where I heard that, but who knows. It's still compelling though. Right, well that's interesting. So if that's from a Russian movie, we should be able to find out then if that's the case, because surely we'll be able to find the movie, a Russian movie that's got this fucking in there. Someone find me that Russian movie, because I know like we can do a debunk video then on this. In fact, I'll find it myself. If there's a Russian movie to this, I will find it. And I'll do a debunk video. But I've never heard that it's from a movie. It's a weird movie, though, would you not say? It looks more like a homemade movie, It's not like a high production thing, does it? It just looks like... But I don't know, Russian movies might be a lot shitter. Yeah, it looks real to me. It does look real, yeah. The easiest thing to say would be it's from a movie. Another one that gets shared around, where people say it's real, is, do you know the one where you've got the little alien beings walking with the human beings? That's from Close Encounters, and they say that's not from Close Encounters. We don't see that in Close Encounters. You're not, because it's in the background, it's in the set. You know, when people are taking images in between filming, that's where that image is from. So we're getting filled all the time. You just got to look hard enough. What's that they're looking at there? I don't know what they've zoomed in on there. Doesn't look anything special. One thing I will say is, if we're seeing, we must be seeing at least half the disc there, right? Which means half the disc is embedded. That doesn't make sense, does it? You think you'd see a bit more debris, a bit more ground dug up. Would it just go straight into mud like that? And just leave, like... It looks like they've dug a trench and stuck a half of a UFO inside it. That's my argument against it being real. That doesn't look like an impact site, really, that something like that would crash into. Yeah, you'd think the ground would be bulged up in front of it or something, yeah. So that's that one. I want to play this one as well. This is Bob Lazar and his hydrogen-powered Corvette.
So, you read all over the internet about people and they run their car on water and hydrogen fuel cells and so on. You're running your car on...
hydrogen. You can't run a car on water.
But you're using water.
Right. You use water as the source material. You run electricity through it, and it breaks it down into hydrogen and oxygen, and then you can burn the hydrogen.
All right, so you found a way to store a lot more hydrogen in hydride. The equivalent of a full tank of gas. You want to fill up your car. How much hydride do you need?
Well, I'll show you.
No way.
Yeah, that's the volume it takes to store enough hydrogen to propel this car close to 400 miles. Just about what it gets running on a full tank of gas.
Wow.
And it's a lot safer than gasoline.
Really?
Yeah, these tanks can be shot at with incendiary bullets or cut in half with a chainsaw, and you could throw a match on them, they just smolder like a cigarette. Now, you can't say that about a gas tank. Now, if you stored hydrogen and just compressed gas in a tank, it would certainly explode, catch on fire. Here, only the hydrogen that you need is released from the tank. When the tank's heated, it produces hydrogen and the car burns it. So there's never much gaseous hydrogen in the system at any given time.
Wow. So these are the fuel lines? No, what are these?
These are the... This provides power to the heater in the tank and also reads back the temperature of the tank.
Why is that important?
Well, when you apply heat to hydride, it releases hydrogen. So as power is applied to here, it heats the hydride,
right,
and then the gas comes out the big hoses on the end.
Yeah, you have 4 hoses. Do they all mix into one big hose or something?
Because you can only get hydrogen out of hydride at a certain rate with a certain temperature. And a single tank, you can't get it out at the volume.
You know, one thing I will say about Bobby, he's very smart, and people have questioned him saying, oh, it doesn't make sense with what he's saying. One thing I noticed on his recent interviews when he said about things that he witnessed, he said that shouldn't work. That candle should not stay like a picture. The flame shouldn't be there because it's paused in time. That doesn't make sense. When the UFO's in the air and they're communicating with that craft, that radio signal should not get through. He says this. So he knows in physics that those things should not be happening. So he's not saying like he has the answers to that. He's saying he's seen things that is beyond what he's his understanding is. So when people question him and say, "Oh, he doesn't know this," I know physics. Well, he's saying the same thing. It goes against all that. And I'd love to have him sat down with someone like an Eric Weinstein, because apparently he says like dark matter A and B or something, gravity A and gravity B. He might be able to give a reason why he's called it gravity A and gravity B if he sits down with a physicist, because he doesn't claim that he knows the answers to it. He says that it should not be doing that. So when people say that he's thick and he's clueless, he doesn't know anything about physics. He's not the smartest. He's admitted that, but he's done a lot of smart things as well. So he's a fucking fascinating guy.
Volume you need. So you really just split it into 4 smaller units, heat them separately, and it works just fine.
Okay. Now behind me, Bob is getting ready to blow something up. Bob is blowing up water. Well, okay, he's not blowing up water because, as he said, to say you're powering your car on water is the same thing as saying if you're running your car on gasoline, you're powering your car on dinosaurs, and we know that's not the case. This is what?
This is a Hoffman apparatus.
And it's used to
Produce hydrogen and oxygen from water.
For fun, just because it's cool.
Well, if you just have a use for hydrogen and oxygen or for demonstration purposes, it works just perfect. All you got to do is fill it with water.
That's just regular water, right?
Well, actually, water with a little citric acid, potassium hydroxide, anything like that. The more conductive you make the water, the faster hydrogen will come out.
And each one of these sides is supposed to be hydrogen and oxygen?
Right. One will be hydrogen will bubble up out of one, and oxygen will bubble up out of the other. Remember, water is H2O.
Right.
So when we break the bond of water apart, we'll get twice as much hydrogen gas as we do oxygen.
Oh, so what happens to the water? It just goes away.
Right. It gets converted into...
So each one of these tubes, the water just goes down.
Who's seen this before?
What's left is the gas?
Right.
And there'll be more on this side?
Yes.
And that's the hydrogen side.
Exactly. And that's the negative.
Oh, so it matters which way you hook these up. So you got to hook up positive to what is... The positive's going to make... The
positive will make the oxygen, and the negative will make
no way.
the hydrogen.
Okay.
So we've just connected it there.
Right.
And just by turning it on, you can see bubbles start pouring up out of there.
It's 7-Up.
Kinda.
So those bubbles are, well, they're not the same. So these are hydrogen bubbles and those are oxygen bubbles.
Right.
And this is wider. There's more of them.
Right. You can see it's really...
Why is there more? Oh, H2.
Right. There's twice as much.
Hey, that actually makes sense.
So I'll close it off so it saves,
Right.
seals the gas in, and then you'll see it'll start filling up.
Oh, we don't have to go away overnight if this will do it while we're watching?
Yeah, it'll be relatively quick. And what we'll do is take a little sample of the hydrogen gas and light it.
Right.
And you can see that.
What are these? You just have electrical current going to a piece of foil?
Well, it's a piece of platinum foil, and the reason you need platinum in there is because it's very corrosive to a metal for electrolysis to occur. I mean, it's...
What was on the 1998 TV movie documentary? Was that debunking the KGB video? If it was, I can try and find that and put it on and we can do a debunk on that.
Really ripping the atoms of the metal apart, but platinum is highly resistant to corrosion. Now, this is a slow method.
Right.
And, you know, it consumes a fair amount of electricity. Now, if the electricity is being produced from solar panels or a wind generator, it doesn't cost you anything, so who cares? But still, you don't want to wait hours and hours and hours and hours to refill a vehicle. You want something that can produce hydrogen at a fairly quick rate. So let's go ahead and extract some of this.
Okay. Look at that. Wow.
So there's power of hydrogen. You see, just from water, something exploded.
So this is the same thing that was inside the lab?
Yeah, that was a small tabletop model. This is a large industrial version, essentially, which connects right to the water main.
Right.
And produces a much higher volume.
The water
hydrogen.
main,
the water
garden
line.
hose.
Right, yeah, garden hose. You can plumb it in like you connect your, dishwasher, or just connect it to a garden hose.
Right.
And it's powered by either solar array, solar panels,
Mhm.
which convert sun into electricity,
Mhm.
or a wind turbine, takes the wind, converts it to electricity, or any other way. But the idea is just to use complete green energy. Ideally, I like to run this one on solar. New Mexico gets a lot of sunlight, so that's really all there is to it. You connect it to a water line, plug it into your solar panel, and open the water line. Unit
Right.
starts producing hydrogen, and when it has a sufficient quantity in there, you let the hydrogen out, and you just leave it plugged into your car overnight.
Now, this is the same as those other two tubes, right?
Right.
Hydrogen and oxygen, or
Right.
whichever one is.
And the oxygen we have no use for, so we just vent off into the air. And the
It's
hydrogen...
very nice of you. I'm sure the Earth would be proud.
Well, it could use all the oxygen it can get. So
Right.
the hydrogen,
Right.
using the water pressure, is compressed into the hydride tanks.
The water pressure, like a syringe, it pushes it right into the tank.
Exactly. Well, there's the standard gasoline fill, but also there's a hydrogen in it, which you just click on, leave it on overnight, and as the generator makes hydrogen, it compresses it in there at a nice slow rate, and the tanks become full over a period of about 8 hours or so. There are little points here and there that do have to be addressed. I mean, when it comes right down to it, you don't want fuel tanks inside the vehicle. This is a prototype, so ideally, eventually, you'd want the tanks outside, just like a fuel tank is. The second thing is you're dealing with an unusual gas. Hydrogen not only is lighter than air, but also it burns with an invisible flame and is completely odorless, which is not a good thing. Now, propane is odorless too. They add a, that pretty strong scent to it, and you can't.
So that one's more or less finished anyway. That video. So that's a kind of a rare video. If you've not seen it, then you've seen it now. Of Bob with his hydrogen-powered car. But the 1997 alien interview tape, you all know that I believe that to be real or some sort of psyop by the military. But there's one that people keep telling me to cover, and I'm really reluctant to cover it, but I'm going to play a little bit of it in this live, right? And it's this other alien interview tape. Now, I do not buy this for 1 second. I think this is absolute bullshit. I think it's fake, a hoax. But there's so many people that fucking think this one's real, and the 1997 one's like totally bullshit, which I don't get. So I'm going to play a clip of it here, so let's... This one.
Okay, we're recording. State plan of origin? Okay, yesterday you told us you traveled, and I quote.
So this is supposed to be from 1964, from the Soviet files, I think it's at the beginning there.
Thousands of light years to get here. Yes. Tell us the truth or the word or another reader. It is truth. I thought about for your future. To travel in time is to travel in space. Or from special dimensions. So I take it aliens took over our future, right? So you're human.
What could be interesting about this, right? This is bullshit to me. This image is bullshit. What if the audio's real and they've added this image? That'd be a clever way to do it, right? Give a bullshit image, but give the actual stuff that's been said in the interview. But I want to make it crystal clear, I do not believe this. So do not think for 1 minute that I am pushing this as being genuine. I'm reluctant to put it on my channel, but who am I to fucking say? But I think this is absolute bullshit.
Okay, so you evolved from us. Yes. So what are you doing here now? Observe. That's what the justice for. How? Okay, so how about we concentrate on your time? Try me. Wait, so you know the meaning of life? What's the difference? So you know how the universe is created? So you've seen God? Okay, illuminate us. What happens when we die? Okay, so let me get this straight. There's no death, and we all experience each other's lives, right? Okay, so how was the universe created, and why is it so perfectly made for us? Moving on. Okay, so why do we destroy ourselves with nuclear war? Can you be more specific, please? Okay, one last thing. What about morality? What do you base your morality on? I see. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Can you speak? Orchard Wilder. Are you scared of me? Because you should be. Okay, so you say you're from the future and an evolutionary descendant of humans. You also say you're a different species. So, which one is it? Are you a descendant of humans or not? Then how do you know English? Answer me. If you don't answer, I'll administer another round of Scorpovi until your system collapses. Do you understand? Now, how...
I hope people aren't coming in brand new looking at my channel thinking, he believes that. No, I don't believe this. I'm going to make that. I'm going to put a warning sign on this after I fucking upload it. I do not believe this. Imagine though the audio's real and they fake the video. That'd be a really good way of doing it, if it was any truth to it.
How do you speak English?
But I think it's all bullshit.
So you just picked up English, just like that? Because you're so smart, right? Right. So, you said you know the origin of the universe, but you did not provide an explanation. So I ask you again, how was the universe created? Answer the question. Really? But you can't create something out of nothing. Sure it is. Only a creator can make something from nothing. Wait, you just contradicted yourself. So? Since nothing cannot exist, what is left is existence. Existence is infinite. There is no end, and no beginning, and therefore no end. Wait, but you said there is an origin to the universe.
I'm not sure what it was some beginning with sea scald in there, something. I don't know what they was going to administer to this fucking fake alien. I don't know.
There it is. I caught you in the lie.
So while watching this, the little part of this, 3 minutes left of this one, what would you like me to play in this live stream? Put something in the comments if you'd like me to look at certain footage, anything you want. Drop it in the comments. You got 3 minutes, and I'll read through them and I'll find them.
So now you're talking nonsense. Again, how was the universe created so miraculously? This universe is a spontaneous event. Inevitable within the eternity of existence. Every event can, will, and has happened. Including this universe. There are an infinite number of universes. Virtually all can harbor so-called life. This universe is, by chance, stable, and has the occasional capacity to harbor so-called life. So, like just happened, right? In this universe, yes. Life, the so-called inevitable consequence of this universe's physical properties. So are you telling me we're just random? Yes. This universe is indifferent to so-called life. How so? Life on this and every world can be destroyed at any time by a multitude of random events. Such as? So the universe doesn't care if we live or die. Correct. I don't believe that for a second. We're more than just random. As I said, you are not capable of accepting the truths of existence. So, if we're just random, then there's no meaning to the universe. That is correct. So if there's no meaning in the universe, then what's the point of living? There is meaning. You just contradicted yourself again. No. You can't live a full life. You can't live a life at all. Do you think that meaning is somehow made up? Your species offers meaning. But others utter the false belief that meaning is a mystical God. It is not. So, what is meaning? Meaning is what you make it. Okay, moving on. You said we humans would die as a species. So, tell me, when does the nuclear war start? operatives played cat and mouse with Western agents in Moscow who were interested in our advanced technology programs. Some new weapons and propulsion systems were being developed, and the CIA was using any means to get information from anyone involved with the project.
Well, I was in Moscow for a year and a half. I had 2 other agents and a guy from the British Secret Service. We routinely debriefed 2 Russian informants who worked for the Ministry of Defense. We would exchange hard currency for information on new military technology. Some of this technology was definitely related to UFOs.
One way we often dealt with such incursions was to feed false information through double agents to give American and British
2 separate cameras. One apparently a handheld camera, which starts out on the approaching truck, and a second one seen here on a tripod. As the soldiers march past, you can see the cameraman turn to follow the troops. Here we cut to the other angle, the point of view from the tripod camera. And here you see the handheld camera as the truck pulls up. Both cameras change vantage points several times during the filming, as if to get better views or perhaps under orders of a superior. From this angle, we see yet more troops arrive. Author Veniamin Vereshchagin describes the event.
Весной же 1969 года рабочий местного совхоза
In the spring of 1969, a collective farmer found some strange remains in the forest not far from Berezovsky
и сообщил об этом,
and reported that to the local security organs,
те в свою очередь
who in their turn asked the neighboring military division of air defense troops, PVO, to provide assistance with the investigation. On March 1969, 2 KGB officers examined the discovery site and sealed it off.
Вы знаете, в дальнейшем события приняли более такой масштабный характер. По просьбе КГБ были привлечены.
On a KGB request, a Soviet army unit was brought to the discovery site.
И в результате уже очень тщательных обследований были найдены.
After close examination of the place, they found some wreckage debris of a disc-shaped object partially sunken to the ground.
Поначалу органы безопасности предполагали,
At first, the KGB thought that the debris
американскому разведывательному самолету или
came from an American spying plane or a Soviet spaceship.
George Filer, a retired Air Force intelligence officer who was stationed at Langley, is not surprised the Russians were so interested in this object.
We found that the Soviets would pay to get information on UFOs as opposed to, we'll say, an F-111 aircraft, that they were, in a way, more interested in UFOs than some of our latest aircraft.
And here you see the man who is probably the head KGB agent directing the cameraman to point his camera toward the disc. A total of almost 1,200 feet of negative were recovered just on this crash site. It is possible that more film was shot, but this is all that we were able to obtain. None of this film depicts the removal of the disc itself, and at no point do we see inside the object. From this angle, we do see the handheld camera shooting behind or inside the disc. However, that footage, if it was, in fact, ever shot, was not included in the cans of film we acquired. We can only speculate that it may still be at large. We must also speculate on how the object ended up here. Based on information from Vereshchagin's book and what we can see in this footage, we have created this computer-animated version of how researchers believe the crash may have occurred. The questions then become, where did this...
I don't think it happened like that at all. Who else thinks it didn't happen like that? Fucking bounced off the ground and then ended up dug into the fucking ground at an angle fucking this way. If you're spinning, you can dig into it. Why are you going to dig in that way? That don't make sense. That don't make sense. Doesn't make sense to the tree being bent to the left. If you look, there's a tree that's been snapped to the left. Everything tells me this has come in like that.
This object come from and how did it come to crash here? And more importantly, what...
You look where that craft is, and you look at these trees in front of it. How the fuck did that? Let's go back to what they think happened.
Directing the cameraman to point his camera toward the able to obtain. None of this film depicts the removal of the disc itself, and at no point do we see inside the object. From this angle, we do see the handheld camera shooting behind.
Just have a look at what they say. That does not make any sense whatsoever, especially when you see the trees that are in front of it. It's like, what's it done? Missed the trees? So, oh, sorry. Let's get past you then and get in the fucking ground.
Or inside the disc. However, that footage, if it was, in fact, ever shot, was not included in the cans of film we acquired. We can only speculate that it may still be at large. We must also speculate on how the object ended up here, based on information from Vereshchagin's book and what we...
Right, so this is what they are reenacting here, of how that craft ended up that way. I think bullshit to this.
You can see in this footage, we have created this computer-animated version of how researchers believe the crash may have occurred. The questions then become, where did this object come from and how did...
There's a tree right in front of it and a big fucking tree there and another tree there. It doesn't make any sense. They've missed trees out. They put one tree there, one tree there, one tree there. What about these fucking trees? That makes absolutely no sense.
Did it come to crash here? And more importantly, what has happened to it since? Coming up next.
$10,000 US. These documents better be real.
When we return right after this. Using a hidden camera, we recorded numerous meetings over a period of months in which we attempted to obtain relevant materials. This transaction between one of our Moscow contacts, an interpreter, and a local black market dealer proved to be one of the more successful ventures. The location of this meeting is a textile factory in the Sokolniki district of Moscow. This office is that of the Russian entrepreneur who owns the plant and is used for both legitimate and illegal business. After introductions and some initial small talk, the American buyer asks the interpreter if the documents are on the premises.
I want to say, are the documents here? Can you ask him if he has?
The businessman tells him that he has had difficulty in obtaining the documents and the price has gone up. He is told that it is impossible to come up with any additional money.
We only have 10,000.
10 тысяч, понимаете, в этой сумке сейчас 10 тысяч. Но мы договаривались с вами, первоначально цена была 10. Мы договаривались, но...
I mean, I can't go out and...
Это очень сложно, нет, я это понимаю. Я понимаю, я, Дмитрий Сергеевич, я отлично понимаю, но вы понимаете, здесь вот в данный момент находится только 10 тысяч. Мы не можем сейчас найти где-то еще вдруг никто несет 5 тысяч.
After consultation with his associate, the seller finally agrees to honor the original price. The files are then removed from a safe and given to the interpreter to inspect.
This is KGB?
This is some report about extraterrestrials deadlock.
Does this look... Do you think this is... Is it real?
Просто хочет убедиться, что документы подлинные. Конечно. Official KGB.
After inspection of the documents and a cursory verification of their authenticity, the transaction is completed.
Okay, well, we should pay Mr. Chevalier and...
Money changes hands, and what was once property of the state now becomes much sought-after evidence for UFO researchers. What made
$10,000 is cheap. Do you not think $10,000 is cheap for that kind of information from Russia? This is a psyop. They are lying. They are just money grabbing. They wanted more money. Why would you sell it for $10,000? That doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever.
made this transaction so successful was that among the pile of documents acquired, several were extremely enlightening, including a top-secret KGB report on Operation Sverdlovsk Midget.
It's funny, they paid $10,000 for something George Knapp stuck caviar all over his suitcase and took for free.
And a request for military assistance from the Soviet Ministry of Defense. If the Russians had in fact recovered an extraterrestrial vehicle, as they seem to be doing.
I mean, when we think of Chernobyl, if you look closely at this procedure here, which is repeated several times in this footage, what they're doing is removing a piece of material. The one doctor refers to it as an organ, or resembling an organ. Then the diener snips off a small sample, which is placed in a specimen jar.
What the fuck is this? I've not seen this before. Is that supposed to be an alien body? It's like an arm, hands there.
For later analysis. Well, that's exactly what would be done in a forensic case, or in the case of scientific research, for instance, if some new species had been discovered. They would remove very small pieces for later chemical and microscopic examination. The lead doctor also mentions a structure he describes as resembling ribs. And here you can see what indeed resembles a rib cage, as if this was the torso.
I've not seen that before. Anybody in the chat got any information on that?
Of some anthropoid or human-like organism.
Finally, Dr. Ryan was unable to identify the subject matter. She believes that the techniques were consistent with those practiced in the Soviet Union during the late 1960s. We have little information about the specimen seen here, other than the pathologist's description and the KGB codename Sverdlovsk Midget. We wondered, though, how such a being might appear had it been recovered intact. Using only the images recorded on this film and the scant data available, technicians have constructed this 3D computer-generated model. Thus, with a bit of imagination and some forensic speculation, we have recreated what may have been the Soviets' possession of an actual being from another world. Coming up next, what were the Soviets experimenting on in decades past? When we return right after this.
I'm not going to play any more of that because it's playing music that'll probably get they'll copyright it and take it off the fucking internet. So if you want, I'll play a little bit of this. For people.
That's
up and down here.
I hadn't realized until I saw this how familiar it would be.
What they say and what you will see will astound you.
If it's not real, they've done their homework.
A special edition. Special report. Exclusive. The first look. Interview with an alien.
Report. Keep an open mind as you consider the interview with an alien.
How's biz, Ash? Great, especially with the help of Zero accounting software. I can keep my cash flow flowing by giving customers more ways to pay. Yeah! Search Zero with an X!
It's very simple. Doing some 20-second advert. Yes! Bastards.
The gravel axe, please.
Here for all life's questions. 3.
Watch carefully, because you may be getting a glimpse of an astounding new chapter of history captured on videotape.
It's a remarkable piece of footage.
Then again, it may just be an outrageous hoax, very well executed.
whoever did this, I mean, they could have a job in Hollywood in a minute.
The fact is, no one knows for sure. And that's what's most disturbing of all.
The point is this: what if it is real?
You might call it the alien autopsy, the next generation. Because this footage pushes the edge of reality and credibility far beyond that of a similar predecessor. That notorious piece of video purporting to be a captured extraterrestrial going under the knife at a top-secret military installation. This one is billed Area 51, Alien Interview. And as its name implies, it's claimed to be the videotaped questioning of another so-called captured ET at the very same military base the autopsy allegedly occurred. We're only permitted to show you this brief excerpt from the tape. But others, including UFO experts, former military brass, Hollywood special effects experts, and America's foremost alien abductee, were allowed to see every second of it. As you'll see, their opinions would be mixed and dramatic, but with one intriguing consensus. All would agree that if it is a fake, it's a very good one.
You're asking me if I think this is real? You know, I don't know.
If anyone were expected to verify the tape's authenticity, it would be this man. His name is Tom Coleman. He's chairman and president of Rocket Pictures, the production company that acquired the tape and plans to market it on home video.
I know that this is not a tricked-up version like the alien autopsy. It doesn't attempt to distract you away from the alien. It doesn't have that cinema verite, black and white. It doesn't go to great lengths to try to fool the audience. Straight ahead. It's an alien on tape.
Coleman says the tape came to his attention through an anonymous...
Opinions on this, folks. 1997 alien interview tape. Is it real or is it fake? Let me know in the comments, real or fake.
...and mysterious phone call. He says he initially dismissed the caller as a liar, a lunatic, or a prankster.
We went back and forth on this, and I basically decided that, you know, this is a little bit too weird for me. Thank you, and goodbye.
But Coleman says he had second thoughts after hanging up, and later met secretly with the caller, a man identified only as Victor. After watching the tape, Coleman says he decided to purchase it under certain conditions.
I made it very clear to Victor that his credibility was the entire issue here, and that everybody's going to think this is a hoax.
Okay, what I will say to you there, Barney, how much research have you done into the tape? Like, what are you basing your it's fake on? Let me know.
And that, how are they going to possibly verify this? What he said was, you can do anything you want in terms of verify it. Any type of due diligence, he will answer whatever questions put forward. We could do whatever type of checking. We could bring in experts. We could have the tape tested. We could, in fact, he encouraged all of these aspects. He just did not want his face and his real name revealed.
Coleman gave us more than this short excerpt of the purported alien interview. He provided the interview you're seeing. He also gave us a taped interview with the mysterious Victor, appearing in silhouette and with a disguised voice.
I will say that this tape was copied under special circumstances. Otherwise, copying it would have been impossible.
Victor would prove to be an elusive subject, at one point stopping the interview when things appeared to get too hot.
This interview was terminated.
But as far-fetched as the entire setup seems, Victor did provide an intriguing claim that the interview...
if there was an interview with one of the people there, some kind of additional evidence that would go a long way to get me to believe, okay, well, I've done like loads of research on this over the years, right? And there is evidence to back up this tape. That's why I'm pushing more it's real or a deliberately made fake to put out there for people. This tape was spoken about 10 years before it was released. If you're going to release something, why speak about it 10 years before if it's a fake? It was spoken about on the record with John Lear. There was a letter to Wendell Stevens that referred to this in 1987. And also in 1987, Bill Moore was in possession of these tapes, which was also in that letter, which was confirmed in 1989 in the 5-hour MUFON conference, which I've got on my archived playlist. If you want to watch that, Bill Moore comes out clean, being working for disinformation. He was getting fed up with being strung along by MJ12 and said he was going to release the alien interview tape. That's why I think Victor is Bill Moore. So there is evidence. If you look, there is evidence for this tape 10 years before it was released, 1986, 1987, and 1989, before this got released, which was in 1997. Strong evidence to say that this is either real or a very planned hoax 10 to 15 years in the making.
Took place at area...
And I've done a video on it. If you just check my channel, I go through the entirety of the evidence of that.
51. The legendary top-secret military installation in the desert.
Yes, and Dan just put something there. So John Stewart actually spoke to... he dismissed me saying Bill Moore. It's not Bill Moore. So he got in touch with Bill Moore. Bill Moore said they used his tie, they used things of him, his script, for that interview. That's a coincidence, isn't it?
Outside Las Vegas, Nevada. Area 51. The same place where the alleged alien autopsy was performed. The details Victor provided would be key to the story behind the alien interview. The secrets of Area 50.
Honestly, I've changed people's minds on that tape. Just because I'm good at my research, when people have looked at that tape and just said it's, and listened to other people and say it's fake, when you actually research it and go before the tape, not 1 year, 2 year, go a decade to 15 years before it is spoken about. And like I said, I've spoken about that. Just type in John Lear on the record interview with George Knapp. Watch that one, that's from 1987. Then type in John Lear letter to Wendell Stevens, 1987, it'll come up. Go to like page 4 of that letter, there's 6 pages. And it speaks about Bill Moore being in possession of 2 tapes, one with an alien interview tape. He's been strung along. If MJ12 don't come clean or release the information like they're saying or promising, he's going to release that tape in 1989. However, they made him promises and he didn't do that. But in 1989, he came clean and went up, sort of off the radar because he said... They booed him off the stage, basically. They didn't boo him off the stage, but they booed him because he admitted to working in disinformation. But he was trying to come clean and admit to people, and people just dismissed that. You don't speak about this 10 years before. So it's either 2 things. One, it's real, or one, it was deliberately made by whoever the psyoping people are to put that out there. But the way it was put out there, there was money taken in exchange for it. It's not an autopsy type video. This one has some fucking backstory to it, let me tell you. And listen, I see right through bullshit. I cannot drop this one. This is one piece I think we're genuinely possibly looking at. I'd give a 70 to 80% chance that we're looking at a real alien there. I'm not 100% on it, but there's enough evidence to suggest it before it. There's nothing after it, and I think the timing of the internet and the timing of everything like that it didn't get the momentum it needed, and as years have gone by, it's just been dismissed as some hoax and some rubbish, but it's never been debunked. No one's ever come forward as saying they've done this tape, not a single person.
51. Victor on the tape was obtained.
Crush your run, not your feet. With the Ultra Fit. More room for your toes.
And if you want to know who Bill Moore is, just for people that don't know who Bill Moore is. Bill Moore. That's Bill Moore. That's Bill Moore. That's Bill Moore. That one's Bill Moore. And that's the Bill Moore, this one here is the image of him from his UFO conference. Looks very similar to Victor. And the full thing's on my YouTube channel in the archive. I highly recommend you go and watch it. It's got John Lear in it, Bill Moore, Bill English, Bill Cooper, all the good ones, all in a 5-hour conference.
Ultra. Stay out there.
Recently, there was a wholesale transfer of video documentation from analog tape to digital disk storage. In a couple of instances, this allowed data to leak from a highest security system to a less high security system. Even so, this particular tape was the only... I think that's about all I'll say about that.
In fact, why am I thinking? Let me just fucking get it for you. So, 1 minute. See if this one has it. Right, here we go. This is December the 13th, 1987. Let me put it on this screen a sec, actually. 1 minute, let's put it. In fact, fuck it, I can just scroll down. So, right. So, before the Grand Deception was discovered, and according to the meticulous plan of metered release of information to the public, several documentaries and videotapes were made. William Moore, a Burbank, California-based researcher, was in possession of a videotape through his contacts with MJ12, who were taking great interest in Mr. Moore's book, The Roswell Incident, published in 1980. So, the video Mr. Moore had was an interview by two well-known newsmen of a military officer associated with MJ12. In the interview, the military officers answered questions relating to the history of MJ12 and the cover-up, the recovery of a number of flying saucers, the existence of a live alien, one of three living aliens designated or named EB1, EB2, and EB3, being held in a facility designated as a YY2 at Los Alamos, New Mexico. The only other facility of this type is at Edwards Air Force Base in Mojave, California. The officer named names as previously mentioned, plus a few others. The EB have some sort of recording device that has recorded all the Earth's history and can display it in the form of a hologram. This hologram can be filmed, but because of the way the hologram works, it does not come out clearly. The crucifixion of Christ on the Mount of Olives has allegedly been put on film to show to the public. The EB's claim to have created Christ in view of the Grand Deception could be an effort in disrupt traditional values for undetermined reasons, which is interesting because my interview with Scott Walters, if you don't know who Scott Walters is, he's on Y-Files, but then we interviewed him a week later. He deciphered this thingy where it was supposed to be written by Jesus, says, "I am not human." So that interview's up if you want to watch that. Another videotape alleged to be in existence is an interview with an EBE. Since EBEs communicate telepathically, an Air Force colonel serves as an interpreter. Just before the recent stock market crash, several newsmen, including Bill Moore, had been invited to Los Alamos to personally film and distribute to the public a similar type interview. That's why I think it could be deliberately made, but on the basis of a real interview. Within the Aquarius project was Project Snowbird, a project to test fly a recovered alien craft. Moore feels MJ12 has been stringing him along, promising to go public with some of the information on extraterrestrials for too long. He has made the decision that if MJ12 does not come forward with the information and release it publicly by the end of 1987, then he, Moore, will go with what he's got, i.e. the videotapes, remainder of the Aquarius documents, and additional matter. Right, so let's get to the bit. Time will tell. It is possible that Moore will go ahead and release the video interview with a military officer around the first time of the new year. I'm trying to get to the bit where he's got the... If, however, Moore does not release the tape by, say, February the 1st, but comes instead with a story similar to MJ12, has informed me they are definitely planning a total release of all information by October 1988. I have seen the plan and have the guarantees that this will happen, so I've decided to withhold the issuance of my videotape at this time. So he held off. He held off for 10 years. So he had the tapes. I've missed the part here where he's got the alien interview tape. Where is it? I've gone through it. Another legend with the alien interview tape. So he had possession of that tape, and he had two tapes, and I think he sold the tape. And that tape could be the one that they created on the back of a real interview that had gone on, and he's just cashed in on it, and he's not been seen really in the public eye. He's done like 2 radio interviews since in 2004 and 2007. So honestly, like I said, I'm not a podcaster, I'm a researcher. I do my channel, I do my things on research, and I just send you where you need to go and look, and then you can go and make your mind up. That's all I need to say on it. And again, John Lear, I found an interview with him, John Lear, I uploaded that as well in the archive, where he actually, what he said in this letter, he says in person at a conference on a lecture. So people should check that out.
Have you personally seen the alien being that appears in the tape?
Yes, I have, but I stress I was not necessarily present at the interview session that appears on the tape.
Why should anyone believe this tape is authentic?
Use your own judgment. That's all any of us can do. There's been so much secrecy and disinformation over the last 50 years that it's become impossible to prove anything in the face of official denial. Of course, the flip side is nobody really believes anything the government says.
Victor was not the only interview provided by Rocket Pictures, holders of the alien interview video. They also gave us this, tape of an outsider getting a look at the complete video. The man watching is Robert Dean, a former military man who worked in NATO's war room and who's now one of the top UFO researchers in the field. This was Robert Dean's reaction.
That breaks my heart.
But Coleman and Rocket Pictures were willing to let the chips fall where they may. They allowed us at Strange Universe to take the video, in fact, the entire tape of the so-called alien interview, and show it to the experts of our choosing. We gathered 4. A Hollywood special effects designer, a UFO researcher, a movie script supervisor, and a respected best-selling author. All of them have one thing in common. They each claim to have had intimate encounters with extraterrestrials. They claim to have met the real thing.
Whitley Strieber had a 10-inch pole stuck up his ass, apparently, by an alien, just in case you didn't know who Whitley Strieber was. That's true.
Each of them viewed the tape, and their reactions are bound to chill you to the bone.
The tape was terribly upsetting to me. It's just a dreadful tape, and I never want to see it again as long as I live.
Match your impressions with the experts, and look again to decide if this is an obvious fake or something much more when we come back.
The skin coloring is nice. That's very reminiscent of what I'm familiar with from my own experience.
Somebody knows a lot about this. This is just terrible.
Ian.
I would say to people, before viewing this, be careful. And keep in mind not to jump to conclusions about it one way or another.
They came from different walks of life, from different parts of the country. All were...
Right, that's enough of that. So, do you want to direct me to play something for you? Have you got anything you want me to look at while I'm on a live stream? Or I can end it, and I might go live again and do a quiz thing if I can tonight. I don't know. We'll see. Well, if there's anything you quickly want me to look at, if not, I'm going to end the live now. I've been live just under 2 hours. For people that have just joined, the thumbnail was played at the beginning. I've sort of gone into other stuff afterwards, but the Boyd Bushman stuff was played at the beginning, and there was interruptions because it's a fucking live watch along. So please understand that before you put your arsey little Karen comments in there, because I will not hold back, and I do not care if I lose you as a subscriber. It's a watch along. It says it in the thumbnail, but I will upload it at a later date for you if you ask nicely. In the archive playlist. I can't upload them straight away and stuff like that because it messes with the algorithm. It doesn't share stuff out. But they all will get added to the rare archive stuff. Little 10-inch pole. He had a 10-inch pole stuck up his ass. That's what he did. That's what Whitley Strieber's famous for, in my opinion. People have spoken to him. He's quite active on TikTok now. People have been speaking to... I'm not really bothered about listening to him or... like that film was made about him. What's that film that was made about Whitley Strieber? I can't remember the guy's name that played where they're dancing with aliens and the aliens are dancing. What was that film called? We all missed Nick Pope. Rest in peace. You know what? I've got a belter actually of Nick Pope. Give me a second here. If you wanna like watch a Nick Pope thing, then I've got a good one for you. That's going to go on my archive soon. It is this one here.
The clear view, and again,
look how young he looks there. Look how fresh-faced he is. This was in 2013. I think, the publication date. Now, whether that was when it was recorded, I don't know. I think this is from early 2000s, not 2013. I'd say it's in the year 2000s because of his hair.
Rings around them. So that was an interesting example, one of many.
So if you want to see that, go to the Wayback Machine and type in the Ministry's UFO Files with Nick Pope, British MOD, by Dr. Stephen Gray, and you will see that thing there. There's loads of good things actually by Stephen Gray on the Wayback Machine. You've got all these here. Really good. I use the Wayback Machine to find some absolute gems of stuff. Well better than Google. You can find some absolute beauties there, like really old interviews and stuff like that. Still finding my way around it. I'm tempted to start using the dark web again. Get some information. See if we can find any of them dead letter drops that Ross Coulthard uses to get his information. He'll do a dead letter drop to someone and they'll reply. That's how a lot of people do it. What are your thoughts on the Disclosure Day film? Just sci-fi, or does it contain a real message? That's a good question. I think Steven Spielberg will have covered all angles in this film. Which, what I'm trying to get is, I think if he throws enough shit in the film, some of it's probably going to stick and probably be true. I think there's a hybrid program. I think that's going to be mentioned in it. He said there's going to be UFOs in it, so that's going to be part of it. So we are going to see UFOs. We are going to see probably a human hybrid thing going on. But I don't know. I'm just excited to see it on the 12th of June when it comes out. I'm just like everybody else. How's his bum? True question. I don't know. He probably went back for second and he probably ran back. Beam me back up. Beam me back. I want 11-inch pole now. I can take it. Lucky bastard. Yeah, if you got any questions, give me some questions before I go. He was so cute, like a mouse, With Christopher Watt. That's it. The Communion of Christopher Watts, and that's it. Well done, Daniel. Help yourself to a brandy. That's the film, The Communion. Why are all the pictures blurred out? Well, get your camera, go outside, and I'm going to fly a UFO outside. Yeah? And then you see if you can catch a crystal clear image of me flying past it, let's say 50,000 miles an hour. See if you can catch me. You're not going to catch it. And listen, you go outside and try and catch something in the dark with your iPhone, it's going to be blurry. You're going to end up with a Bledsoe fucking orb. Unless it's stationary in the sky, you're not going to get a good image. You're not going to catch one moving across the sky, are you? Or a good video. And the way they move, it's always going to get debunked as being it's not real because they're unstable in the sky, and that goes against whatever you're thinking. That can't be in the sky. That can't be moving like that. Bah. Come on, get me some questions in before I go. Questions. What would you like to do watch along with next? Any fingers, tips and stuff like that? I had a massive fucking list, right? And my daughter drew all over everything and fucking ripped it up and I binned it like a dick. So that annoyed me. Have I missed any questions up there? What are your thoughts about the Montauk project? That's 100%. That's real. That's 100% gone on and happened. Maybe I could do a watch along to that actually. Some videos on the Montauk. Yeah. Stranger Things was probably based on a bit of that. Communion on Pluto TV. You can watch it anyway. I think you can get it on YouTube. That's mad. It's just when people say, how do you catch a UFO? Well, you're not going to catch it. It's not a plane. It's a UFO. It's defying physics. And it's going at fucking so fast. Blink of an eye from there to there. You ain't going to catch that in an image. And if you do, it's not going to come out good, is it? And you got to think of the distortion around the crafts as well. Sometimes it's going to blur it out, or it's going to glow up as a light. So, right, I'm going to go because I want to look into this quiz thing and sort this quiz thing out. And if I can get it sorted, I might do it tonight in about an hour or something like that. The video of that female musician flight, real or fake orbs. The video of that female musician flight, real or fake? I don't know what you mean. What do you mean? The video of that female musician flight, real or fake? I'm not sure. There is one actually of, do you remember that one with Charlie Kirk? Charlie Kirk UFO. I'm sure it was Charlie Kirk. Why can't I find the video? So Charlie Kirk was on a plane, and he got invited to the... Oh, there's a short clip here. Let me play this little clip here.
Activist and author Charlie Kirk shared this incredible footage of a UFO he witnessed during a flight on a friend's plane over New Mexico. Let's take a look and listen in to the pilot's reactions.
You're about to see him again. Just watch up.
So these lights kept coming in and out, and there was a lot higher than the plane, and he said it's not normal. The pilot knows what's fucking normal in the sky. And they invited Charlie Kirk for whatever reason to the cockpit.
Up on the horizon, and they're going to get really bright, and then they're going to go away. See them? There's two of them right there. Those are not airplanes.
Yeah, they keep circling.
You see them here. Two little dots here. Where my mouse is. Can you see my mouse on the screen? Oh wait, sorry. Right in the middle. Where you've got that line in the sky. Go underneath it.
They just keep circling, and they're going to go away.
And there's nothing on your radar right now?
No, there's nothing there. I can zoom out.
Now the light's going out.
They're gone.
So they're above us significantly.
Look, it's going to get really bright. And then it's going to go away.
Now that's compelling footage, because that's in a plane that's probably at 37,000 feet. That's probably about 60 to 70,000 feet. The orb, whatever it is that's flickering on and off.
The whole flight I've been wanting to call you up here, I'm like, who's going to think we're crazy?
No, I'm seeing it myself, but look, your radar would pick it up if it was an aircraft, right?
Yeah.
Political act.
So that was just a little clip if you've not seen it. There's better footage. I mean, even when they hang out a slow flyby, you can't get photo. No, you can't, you're right. South America somewhere, it's like the one light flight of Navigator. What homework? Your homework, that's mad. Your homework? What homework? What are you on about? So winding me up. Right, I'm gonna go, folks, because I don't want to. I've directed this well away from the fucking thumbnail, and I'll get shit for that. Even though I did share it at the beginning, and people won't understand that. They'll still hate on me, and I've taught too much, even though I'm supposed to sit here and ignore you. But I'm gonna go. But I might be live again later, and I might do a quiz thing. I don't know. We'll see. So if you're not subscribed, please drop a subscription. I do all sorts of content on here, and it's just going to evolve and evolve and evolve. My channel will get better. As always, keep your eyes to the skies, as the next story could be yours. Good night, God bless, and I will see you on the next one. Let's listen to this banger as we finish.
Figure this one out. There's a double. There's a third one. Oh, what do we got? Take a look at this.
Kenneth Arnold, lights flashing, 47 saucers passing, Roswell crash, debris field, Ramey memo half revealed, Project Sign, Project Grudge, Cold War skies, the radar buzz, Blue Book files locked away, Men in Black say no one saw a thing today.
Watch closely as a different U.S. drone drops a Hellfire missile on that fast-moving orb. The missile appearing to bounce off the object.
Foo Fighters over World War II. Nazi discs, the rumors grew. Operation Paperclip. V2 rockets, secret ships. Maury Island fragments fall. Flatwoods monster standing tall.